Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Today, we're going to talk about the coronavirus and the Black community. Now, the coronavirus, it's affecting everyone. You know, it doesn't discriminate. We know this. However, the numbers that are coming out of the Black community in particular, it really requires me to sound the alarm as it relates to the victims of the coronavirus, because this is my community. Okay. And there's a article coming out of blockclubchicago.org, blockclubchicago.org, where Dr. Ngozi Nzike, she is talking about the numbers as it relates to Black people and the coronavirus. And in the article, it says 70% of people dying from coronavirus in Chicago are Black. 70% of people dying from coronavirus in Chicago are Black. It goes on to say that Black coronavirus victims are dying at a disproportionate high rate. And this is why I'm sounding the alarm as it relates to the Black community, because why are we dying more than everyone else? Not saying that we want everyone else to die, but why are our numbers higher than anyone else's? I mean, this is, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that you're surprised. But we have to understand the disparities and the disproportionate numbers as it relates to our community and the history of our people with any types of services or anything as it relates to healthcare, economics, education, employment, and things like that. Now, the article goes on to state, it says, in Chicago, 70% of the people who have died from coronavirus are Black. Black people comprise just 29% of Chicago's population. Black people compose of just 29% of Chicago's Black population. But we're 70% of the victims that die from coronavirus. Statewide, now we just dealt with Chicago, statewide, about 30% of the people dying from coronavirus are Black. 30% statewide in the state of Illinois. Dr. Ngozi, who is the director of the Illinois Department of Public Health, she came out with this report yesterday on Sunday. Now, while we're 30% of the statewide deaths, we only compose of 14.6% of the state's population, and that's according to 2019 census estimates. 2019 census estimates. So it is very important. It is very important to fill out the census because we are underrepresented, and if our numbers aren't where they supposed to be, we're not going to get the we're not going to get the services if the census does what it's supposed to do. But we know even if we get the numbers to where they're supposed to be, we're still going to have to fight to get the services that we need. Dr. Nzike says, we know all too well that there are general disparities in health outcomes that play along these racial lines, and the same may be true for this virus. Now, this is the director of the Illinois Department of Public Health saying this. The state has worked to address healthcare disparities in Black and Brown communities, and resources will be directed where they are most desperately needed, Ezike said. The state will provide an updated breakdown of the coronavirus deaths on Tuesday. So keep your eyes and ears open for the report on coronavirus deaths, the breakdown of it on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, which is April 7th, you'll get a breakdown of that. Governor J.B. Pritzker said disparities existed in healthcare for people of color before the crisis, and the coronavirus is emphasizing those differences. For example, in Chicago, downtown residents live on average 16 years longer than residents of Garfield Park. In Chicago, in downtown Chicago, residents live on average 16 years longer than residents of Garfield Park, whose population has a higher portion of people of color. So you could take a 10-minute drive from Garfield Park to downtown, 10 minutes away, and people live 16 years longer than you. That is insane. And we as a people, we don't understand these reports because, for one, we're not reading these reports. Okay, we're not reading these reports. We have to read these reports, and we have to make a change in ourselves. There needs to be a paradigm shift where someone who lives 10 minutes away lives 16 years, lives almost 2 decades longer than I will, because I live 10 minutes west and they live 10 minutes east. That is utterly insane, and something needs to be done about it. Let me continue reading. Governor Pritzker said, we already started out with an unequal system of healthcare for people. He says, when you bring something like COVID-19 into it, it just really blows it up. And I'm deeply concerned about this. The state wants to reopen suburban hospitals like Metro South and Westlake Hospital to deal with the crisis, and those will be in communities with more people of color, according to Pritzker. And while officials are trying to address the healthcare gap, it has years-old roots that makes it hard to overcome. But it is a much broader problem that over the course of the 3 or 4 weeks, 3, 4, or 5 weeks, that is hard to make up for decades, frankly, maybe centuries of inequality of application of healthcare to people of color. And this is coming from Governor Pritzker. He's saying it's going to be hard to try to flip this on his head in 3 to 5 weeks. The healthcare disparities, that's just one aspect of what's going on with us. And people should remember the virus doesn't discriminate. Absolutely. The virus does not discriminate. However, services and response time does discriminate. We saw that in Hurricane Katrina. We saw that. Response and response time does discriminate. The virus don't, but response and response time does discriminate. So we have to remember that. The one thing you can do that everybody can do is stay at home. Make sure that you're wiping down surfaces. This is true for everybody, no matter the color of your skin or where you're from, Governor Pritzker said. Now, let's talk. When they put a shelter in place order and the cops are breaking up house parties, that's a problem. That's a problem. You have to stay in the house unless you're going out for, whatever necessities, or essentials, whatever word you want to use. You got to stay in the house. How are you throwing house parties and we have this virus that's just ravaging our community? Okay. So what do we do from here? What do we have to do to convince people to do what's necessary in order to be healthy, stay alive? Okay. And I don't believe that that's the only reason, because people just having some house parties. I don't believe that that's the only reason why the numbers are 70% in Chicago and 30% in the the entire state. I don't think that that is the case. So how do we take objective accountability for ourselves as it relates to this virus? And how do we take objective accountability as it relates to our elected officials? How do we hold them accountable? We have to get ourselves educated on the issues, on our elected officials. We have to become civically engaged, because we don't know what's going on. We're uneducated, undereducated on the issues. Okay, so if you go, you can go to the Clark Center for Civics, Politics, and Global Affairs Facebook page and Instagram page, and you can find out some information on how the state and local governments work. And I can leave a link to that in the description if you are interested. Okay, but Black people, we have to do better. Now, that's just coming out of Chicago and Illinois. That's just, these numbers are just coming out from here. Who knows what's going on in, Baltimore and, DC and Philly and places like that. Who knows what those numbers are? I just know that here in Chicago, these numbers are astronomical. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And if you have any ideas on what we can do, besides just staying in the house, because it goes beyond staying in the house. Okay, we have to look at the response and the resources that are available to us, and we have to look at the response and the resources that are available to other groups. Okay, we're paying tax dollars just like everyone else is paying tax dollars. The response should be the same for everyone across the board. Okay, not turning this into a, I'm not trying to play the race card on this situation, but we have to be objective and look at the disparities. Why are these numbers this high? And tomorrow, when Dr. Ezike gives us a breakdown, hopefully of all the demographics of the victims of the coronavirus, maybe we can learn a little more. Okay. Hey, as always, love somebody, but more importantly, love yourself. Stay safe. Check on the elderly. Only go out for what you need and go back home. All right. Oh, as a matter of fact, before I go, Walmart, at a Walmart, I think it was in Evergreen, 2 employees passed away. Unfortunately, they passed away from coronavirus. And then I heard 2 employees from a Target, they have coronavirus. So what we have to understand here, while we're going out to get, certain products and, whatever things that we need, we have to understand that if employees here and there have the coronavirus, it's not just, well, you get the coronavirus, so I'm not going to go to Target or Walmart or whatever store it is. But these employees have the coronavirus. When you go in and you grab that and you grab 30 packs of tissue and water and paper towels, if they coughed or if they sneezed or whatever the case may be, it could be on that. Okay, it could be on, the pack of food that you're buying, some Lysol, some bleach, whatever the case may be. So this stuff is spreading. So soon enough, they're going to shut the entire state down, because this is the only way that they're going to be able to see who has this virus. All right. So keep that in mind. Protect yourself when you go out. Again, as always, love somebody. More importantly, love yourself. Protect yourself. Protect others. Peace.